guys, it's time for another episode in my top 5 bottom 5 new makeup releases. This was inspired by Samantha March's Will I Buy It series, but I wanted to put my own spin on things and just kind of talk about like the best and worst, at least in my opinion, makeup releases that have come out or been sneak peeked or you know, whatever it is. And I like to roast makeup. I like to talk about makeup that I don't like. Of course, we all have different opinions, and if you like what I don't like, that's totally okay, and I respect your opinion, but I also expect you to respect mine. So hopefully we can all agree to disagree if that is the case, but I'm excited to talk about some makeup. But before we get into the actual makeup, this video is sponsored by Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a sustainable and affordable luxury jewelry brand. I worked with them in the past. I love the pieces that I have, so when they reached out to me again and asked if I wanted to work with them, of course I said yes. Their goal is to provide high quality pieces for fair prices whilst also caring about the environment, which of course is amazing. A lot of their pieces are made from recycled materials, and they do all their plating in-house, and they only use recyclable boxes to ship. You should have seen the box that my package came in. It was so tiny that I didn't even know like that there was anything in it. I didn't even know what was in the package until I saw like on the label that it was from them, and I was like, let me show you the pieces that I ended up picking out for myself. I'm obviously wearing them today. I'm wearing this beautiful layered necklace. I love their layered necklaces because they come individual, so you actually get 3 pieces instead of just one, which I think is great. This one is called the Ava set and it's $125, so it is one of the more expensive pieces on their site. Their pricing do start at $39, so you can definitely find, you know, jewelry that is more affordable as well. But if you are looking for a high quality statement piece, you can also find that as well. And then let's talk about the earrings that I'm wearing. These are the Tia medium gold earrings. These are absolutely beautiful. These are $55. I love the size of them. I love that they're hoop earrings without being like too big, because sometimes I find with hoop earrings like they go down to my shoulders and they're just really annoying. So I like finding a size that's like perfect for me. I feel like for my frame, I feel like these look really nice, and I just love them. I think they look beautiful. I also ended up getting a bit of a smaller pair of earrings, and these are called the Riviera earrings. I think these are beautiful. Again, I love the fact that with all of Ana Luisa's stuff that I have tried or picked out, like they're all very kind of dainty but statement-y pieces at the same time. Like they're quite unique. I would absolutely recommend you guys check them out, especially if you're thinking about maybe getting like jewelry for a gift for someone. I think that would be amazing. They're also running a Black Friday sale currently, so go ahead and check out the link down below in my description box. Thank you so much, Ana Luisa, for sponsoring this video. It is a joy working with you guys. So let's go ahead and talk about some makeup. We're gonna start on top like I always do, and I have to talk about the new Melt collection. Man, I'm gonna be so broke. I don't know what else to say. Like, I think that when I first saw the palettes, I'll be honest, when I first saw the palettes, I wasn't completely blown away because of the color stories, because I felt like there were a lot of kind of repetitive shades, being that it is like an 8 and a 10 pan palette. I felt like in both palettes there were kind of repeating shades that maybe could have been something different. But after seeing like more and more of the collection come out, like I want the whole freaking collection, and I feel like it's also just gonna look really good with my hair right now. So I'm definitely going to pick this up, and I think that even the lipsticks are so cool. Like even that green one, I don't even ever wear green lipstick like that, but I want it just because it's in that collection, and I just think it looks amazing. The eyeliners look great. I even want to try the mascara. Honestly, I might just buy the PR package if they sell like a discounted set with everything in it. I don't really care so much for the mirror because I already have a mirror, and I don't really want to have like a branded mirror. I like just having this little one. But I mean, I want everything in this collection. I think they did such a good job with the execution, and I'm honestly more excited for the kind of grayish maroony palette than I am the purple and the green palette, because I just feel like it's just more unique. I don't know what to say. I mean, I love both palettes, and I think that they would work beautifully together as well. So I'm so excited for this release. I think that they did a really good job. Do I wish that maybe the palettes were slightly different? Probably, but again, like this is their vision, and I don't want to judge it until I have it in my hands and I see it and I can try it for myself to really see what the different formulas and textures and colors are like and how they work together. So I'm gonna reserve my judgment of the color stories until I get it in my hands and I get to play with it. But honestly, I can't wait because I'm totally getting my hands on this, and I know you guys are excited too because I've had so many requests to review it. So don't you worry, it's coming. We have to talk about the new Mitchell collection as well. I've already bought 2 of the palettes. I bought the brush set. I bought one of the blushes, I think they're called. I think this collection is so well done. When I first saw the palettes, I was like, wow. Those color stories are absolutely stunning. I couldn't even just pick one palette, so I ended up buying both, and it shipped like yesterday when I'm filming this. Maybe I'll have a video up before this video is going up. I don't know when this is going up, but just know that I bought it and I can't wait to get it. I have such high expectations. I'm hoping that this is going to kind of take over my not being able to buy from Jeffree Star again because he sucks. And maybe this can be like my replacement, because I need something else to get really excited about that's like a mainstream brand, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have a hyped up brand that I can review that will actually get me some views on my channel. That would be quite nice, not gonna lie. So maybe this will be it for me, hopefully. I don't know, but I'm super excited to test it out, and I do think that this is going to be really nice quality. My only concern is like about the brushes, because looking at the pictures of the brushes, they looked a little bit cheap, maybe just a tad bit, but again, gonna reserve any judgment for when I get to try it myself. But I love the color of the brushes, which is mainly why I got them. I just think that they look so cute, and yeah, I'm excited to be able to test out the first launch from the brand, and I'd love to hear if any of you guys picked up anything from this collection. Do let me know down below. Another thing that I'm so excited about that I actually have in my hands that I will be filming a video with is a new collection from Shine by SD Cosmetics. They came out with the Dynamic Duos bundle, and I have them all right here. I have been filming with them a little bit, and they are freaking beautiful. Like, wait until you watch my video. They also came out with another collection here, but they haven't really, like, I don't know, talk too much about that, but this is called the Golden Hour Bundle 2. They have a number 1 as well. Honestly, I've been so impressed by everything from Shine by SD. I would highly recommend you check out their site if you haven't already, but maybe wait for my video, because like I said, I will have a video coming doing a bunch of looks and swatches and stuff like that, because I'm excited to show you guys. It's a great brand, very underrated, so that will be coming, and I cannot wait, and this is such a good release from them. I'm so excited about it. Let's talk about this. This is so interesting. James Charles is coming out with his new makeup brand, his own makeup brand. And I think that this is going to be fun, you know? Because James Charles, he loves fun makeup, he loves experimenting, he loves color, he loves being artistic. And I think that he could really come up with like something innovative and like a great idea. So I have very high hopes for this. I'm sure he'll come out with like something neutral at some point as well, because every brand needs that. Hopefully it's not going to be what he starts with, since it's not like who he is, you know what I mean? He does like his glam looks, but I feel like that's not what people know him for. So I'm super intrigued to see what is going to be in this line. I mean, there has to be an eyeshadow palette. In his promotional picture, he said he's wearing stuff from his new makeup line, so it kind of has to be, right? All of the colors and splashes, and I don't know, I just feel like this is going to be fun. What do you guys think of this? Do you watch James Charles? I watch him from time to time and I find him hilarious, but I can only take him in like small doses because he's a lot, like he's a ball of energy, and I'm the complete opposite, so I can't be around people like that like constantly because it's a little much, but I do appreciate him, and I really like how talented he is and just the passion that it seems like he has for makeup. I have a lot of respect for him as well, just as a business person. I think that for being so young, like what he's doing is amazing. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he's hired the right people to help him out accomplishing his goals, and I have a lot of respect for him. So I'm excited to see what he comes out with. I feel like I'm going to end up picking at least some of it up and trying it out, because again, it's probably going to be a very hyped up brand, and since Jeffree Star's canceled, I need a big hype brand that I can like bank in on the views a little bit. I know it's such a YouTuber thing to say, but honestly, I grew my channel reviewing Jeffree Star products, so it's a little stab in my heart for me to cancel him, but it had to be done, and I'm not going to even talk about his newest palette because we're not doing that on my channel. Let's move on. The last thing that I am very excited about, but I'm not going to get, is the new Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. When I first saw this, I gasped a little bit because I wasn't expecting that, especially from her. Even though she had come out with like the liquid multi-chromes, I just wasn't expecting her to come out with like a palette with multi-chromes in it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I was very intrigued when I saw it, and it is a beautiful palette, but it's so expensive. And I have so many beautiful multi-chromes from Cleona, and I have from other brands as well, and I know that these shifts, I already have these, and I also saw Angelica do a video. I will link her video down below if you want to check it out, but she compared it to some of the Cleona ones, and the multichromes in the Natasha Denona palette just weren't up to par, so that also kind of influenced my decision that I don't need to buy this, and I'm glad I didn't buy it when it launched, because I feel like I just would have been disappointed, you know? Like, I really like Natasha Denona's mattes, and I also just wish that in this palette there would have been a little bit more depth. I felt like for me there were a little too many just very light mattes. Even if they were colorful, I still just don't really use light mattes a lot. So for me, it just wasn't a home run, but I really do appreciate like her thinking ahead, if you will, and I feel like her as a brand, she's very on trend. Like, she really tries to keep up with time, and I feel like whatever she comes out with next is also going to be something that's quite trendy at the time. So definitely a brand that I'm always keeping my eyes on. Natasha Denona's quality is fantastic in my opinion, so definitely a brand that I really like and that I will buy things from if she comes out with something that I really like. But this palette just, it wasn't perfect for me, but I do think it's a beautiful palette still. Let's go to the fails. We're gonna start with this one. This is the collab between Morphe and Nikita Dragun. I am just so over these giant ass palettes from Morphe. I feel like they all start to like blur together at this point. Like, even if they're colorful, like this palette, there's definitely some color in it, but because it is like a 39 pan from Morphe, like it just all looks the same, and I'm so over it. And doesn't she have her own makeup line? Like, why is she doing a collab with Morphe? I don't get that. Like, yeah, she's probably getting paid a shit ton of money to like make a palette with Morphe, but why would you want to work with Morphe when their quality is like so subpar? Like, this is such a money grab. She doesn't need this. Why couldn't she just make an eyeshadow palette with her own brand that would have been more original, that would have been more her, instead of just like putting it? This doesn't even feel like she designed the palette. It's almost like she just told someone who worked at Morphe, like, hey, can you put together a 39 pan palette for me and we'll just sell it and slap my name on it. Like, that's how I feel about this. And I just feel like it's not personal. Like, it doesn't feel like this is her. Like, I don't watch her, so I don't know what she normally wears, but this just doesn't feel right. Like, let me know if you agree. Like, I don't like this release at all. And there's also 2 pressed glitters in it, I think, and there's this stupid shade with like the marbled stuff in it. Like, I don't understand these marble shades. Let's just kind of move on to the next thing, because the next palette also has them, but this is the new Huda palette. This is called the Naughty palette. So this palette, not only does it have like that weird ass shade with like the little bubbles and balls in it. Now, I will say that is supposed to be an eye gloss, which I think is stupid, because who wears eye gloss? Let's be real. If you put a gloss on top of your eyeshadow, that only works for photography and for like taking pictures for a short period of time before you wash your makeup off. Like, you're not gonna leave your house with an eye gloss on. I mean, I don't know about you, but it would crease like crazy on me. I have hooded eyes. I'm sure if you don't have hooded eyes, if you have deep set eyes, the same thing would happen, and it would just break up the shadow underneath. Like, who wears eyeglasses? Anybody? This is just for shock value. This is just to be different and to put something into a palette that people are going to want to buy, not because they want to use it, but because they're just curious. Like, that's how I feel about that shade. Like, it's not something that anybody needs. And also, it just looks kind of gross. But let's talk about these stupid marble shades. So I'm looking at this palette, I'm looking at the swatches, and the second shade from the bottom up that's been swatched is one of the marbled shades. And you can see just how uneven it is, how patchy it is, how you can't really see like the accurate color of it, because when you swirl your finger into it, you don't really, that's another thing. Like, how are you supposed to know what the actual color looks like when you put it on your eyes when it's marbled in a pan? It's just confusing to me, and what is the point? You know, like, just make a regular shadow. Again, it's just for show, it's just to do something different, and I don't like it. Like, you don't have to make something, or what I'm trying to say is, don't mess with something that already works, you know? It's like people who try to reinvent pizza. Like, stop it, leave it alone. Like, we all know what a pizza should be like, and you don't need to put like caviar and like weird shit on pizza. Like, that's not pizza anymore. Like, this is an eyeshadow palette. Stop doing that. Just put a regular shade in there so we know what we're getting. I have no interest in this palette at all. I do think the color story is quite nice, but just looking at it, it makes me a little bit icky and just like, ugh. Let's move on to this one. This is the Custom Enhancer palette from Cover FX. This is an all-inclusive highlighting palette with 3 shades in it. Are we not over the all-inclusive palettes yet? Really? How many times do I have to beat a dead horse by saying that if it's an all-inclusive palette, it's actually not inclusive to anybody? Because there's always going to be at least one shade that every person is not going to be able to use. And I just feel like this is not even like a makeup artist owned brand, so to me it makes 0 sense at all when any brand that's not like a makeup artist focused brand comes out with something like this. Am I the only one who feels that way? It's like, I know there's gonna be comments being like, you can use it as an eyeshadow. Like, no. I don't do that. If I buy a highlighting palette, I buy it because I want to use it as a highlighter, not because I'm settling and I'm going to be like, oh, well, I can't use it on my face, I'm going to use it on my eyes. No, if I buy a highlighting palette, I want to be able to use it as a highlighter, as intended, as advertised. And if I can't do that, I don't want it. I'm sorry. I don't like face palettes where I can't use every shade, and I feel like by now, in 2020, we need to stop with that. We need to just make different palettes from different skin tones and leave it at that, because it's just better for everybody. Okay, let's talk about this palette next. This one is interesting, and it's not like I don't hate it, but this is a new collection from BH Cosmetics. This one is called the Let It Glow collection. I mainly want to talk about the large palette because when I first looked at it, I was like, that's not so bad, but then I kind of take a look at the swatches and I'm like, ew, pressed glitters. And then I look at the palette again and I don't like the arrangement of the shades in this palette. I know that's so petty, but for me, for some reason, when I look at this, it's almost like there's a diagonal line going straight through the palette that's dividing the palette into halves. And I don't like why did they do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I like my shadows to be kind of scattered and like all over the place. But the fact that all of the light shades are like going down in a line, I just don't like it. And also combined with it being a super big palette with some pressed glitters in it, I'm just not interested at all. And I wish that BH Cosmetics would just go back to doing smaller palettes. Imagine if they had done a small Christmas palette in the same formula that they did the ice cream collection palettes or whatever they were called. That was such a good formula, such a cute packaging. This is so big. I honestly liked the little palette a lot more. Like the small palette, the tiny palette in this collection is beautiful. I love that. I love the color story of that. I love everything about that palette, honestly. Of course, it's a little too neutral for my liking, but I feel like that is a way more curated, just more well done palette, and the large one is just kind of like so all over the place. And I just can't. Lastly, here's another palette. More pressed glitters. Suva Beauty, what are you doing? Since when? I used to love Suva Beauty. I have things from Suva Beauty. I think their eyeshadow formula is amazing. I have some of their water activated liners, the cake liners. They're great. But like, why are we coming out with a palette that has half pressed glitters in it? I thought we were done with that. I hate that this is becoming a new trend. Seriously, can we stop it? Does anybody like pressed glitters? I know there's going to be some people who are like, I like pressed glitters, but I did a poll on my community page, not my community page, on my Instagram not that long ago, just asking if people like pressed glitters, and it ended up being like 80-20 for no. And it just makes my feelings feel more validated because I know I'm not alone, and every time I look at a Trend Mood post where she's posted a palette with pressed glitters in it, the whole comment section is just like, ew, pressed glitters, I hate pressed glitters, why does everybody have to use pressed glitters? Like, do brands not read comments? It's so confusing to me. Is it just because it's cheaper to make pressed glitters? Is that why brands keep putting them into palettes? Because I never hear people say, yes, pressed glitter, that looks beautiful, I can't wait to use that. Like, I don't see it. I don't hear it. Maybe from like 2 people that I know who actually use pressed glitters on a regular basis, but everyone else is like, I don't like pressed glitters, but maybe I'll buy the palette anyway and just never use the glitter. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like at this point people are just over it, and I'm over it, and if I'm being completely honest, I personally feel that putting a pressed glitter into an eyeshadow palette really cheapens the palette because I associate pressed glitters with like very cheap private label brands. I don't know if that is just me, but in my head when I see a pressed glitter, I'm like, I don't want to buy that palette because it just gives me kind of like child makeup vibes, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, I don't mean to offend anybody who like pressed glitters, but in my head it's very off-putting to me. Maybe it's just because I don't use pressed glitters, but I'm just not a fan, and I'm going to keep, again, beating a dead horse until they stop making pressed glitters, because I want to get my message out there, and if enough people do it, maybe brands will stop putting pressed glitters in their palettes. Super Beauty is a brand that I really, really, really want to buy from because I've liked everything that I've tried from them in the past, so it just makes me sad to see them come out with something that's like so far from something that I would want to buy. So I guess those were all of the things that I wanted to talk about. Let me know if you agree or disagree, and let's do it respectfully. Also, thank you so much to Anna Luisa for sponsoring this video. It's been such a pleasure to work with you, and I hope to work with you again sometime. Don't forget to check out the link down in my description box, and that's going to be it for today. If you want to see some other ones that I have in this series, I will put my playlist on the screen, and if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.